This episode of the D-Lew podcast is brought to you by Happy Wrap. You ever wanted to design your very own gift wrapping paper? Now is your chance to do so. Whether it's for the holiday season, weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, no matter what the occasion calls for, you can use Happy Wrap to wrap your gifts. As a matter of fact, you can even design notebooks, greeting cards, gift tags, and so much more. You can sign up today at happy.thedlewpodcast.com and use the promo code DLEW to get your 10% discount at checkout. Again, that's happy.thedlewpodcast.com and use promo code DLEW to get your 10% discount at checkout. By Simpler Hair Color. Hey guys, are you tired of using that drugstore hair dye brand that isn't getting the job done? If you want to use a great product to cover those grays, have no fear, Simpler Hair Color is here. No mixing, no dripping, no mess. It's super easy to use, whether you're a beginner or a pro. Go to simpler.thedlewpodcast.com and use promo code DLEW10 for your 10% discount at checkout. Again, that's simpler.thedlewpodcast.com and use my promo code DLEW10 for your 10% discount at checkout. And by WWE Shop with Fanatics. Get your favorite WWE Superstars merchandise and wear them proud with superstars like the OTC Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley, the Second City Saint CM Punk, John Cena, Main Event Jey Uso, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, and so many more. Oh, by the way, they got some really cool championship belts in there as well. So go to wrestling.thedlewpodcast.com. Again, that's wrestling.thedlewpodcast.com so you can go to WWE Shop with Fanatics. This podcast is a Believe Network and Siete production. Welcome to another edition of the D-Lew podcast brought to you by Believe Network. I'm your host, Derrick T. Lewis, and I hope you all are having a fantastic week. You know, this past weekend was the WWE Royal Rumble Premium Live event, and me and Gabi, we're going to recap that entire event, every match, and what this means on the road to WrestleMania. Also, we're going to talk about the trade that shook the world this past weekend as Luka Doncic goes to the Los Angeles Lakers and Anthony Davis goes to the Dallas Mavericks. Unbelievable. And we're going to talk about all that happened at the Grammy Awards. And let's not wait any longer. The latest episode of the D-Lew podcast with me and Gabi starts right now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as always, she's back gracing us with her presence, the matriarch of the D-Lew podcast, the one and only Gabi. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Wow. It's been a crazy couple of days with wrestling. The NBA world turned upside down. Obviously, we got the Super Bowl coming up this weekend, the Grammys, and all of that happening, and we got to get into all of that. But before we talk about the Royal Rumble, I do want to talk about something special that did happen the middle part of last week, and that was when we were all made aware that WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque is going to headline the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2025. And let me just say that, to be honest with you, this should have happened when the old regime was there. Mm-hmm. Now, I do understand with the circumstances of him being involved with the family and everything, that's probably why he didn't. But although he is in the Hall of Fame as a member of DX, he had a Hall of Fame career completely solo. And this happened during a town hall meeting at the new Titan Towers. Mm-hmm. Just going over numbers, I'm sure, and all with Nick Khan and Hunter, and they're thanking everybody, and all of a sudden Shawn Michaels' music hits. And if you saw the look on Triple H's face, he was like, "What in the world is this?" And the Undertaker comes out, and they said something of the realm of, by us being the elder statesman here, at WWE, we made the executive decision to put you into the Hall of Fame. And Of course, Stephanie was there having no idea this was all going to
Hmm.
happen either. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
kudos on behalf of the D-Lew podcast, you know, Triple H, congratulations, to you, on this incredible achievement. Like I said, this is long overdue. He's had a stellar Hall of Fame career. And what were your thoughts on that when you first heard the news?
I didn't even realize he wasn't in solo. Like I just assumed, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even realize that. So I'm definitely pretty excited for this.
Yeah, because I was under the impression that he was going to do what the previous CEO did, and he was just like, well, I'm not going to put myself in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that was the conclusion that everybody jumped to online, of course, and that was not the case because I think he said something jokingly, tongue in cheek, like, I'm going to kill Nick. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? But I think,
Hmm.
and I had a feeling that if he were going to go into the Hall of Fame, because again, Triple H is not the CEO, Nick Khan is, they all work for TKO. That
Hmm.
was ultimately a corporate decision that was way above his head. So, like I
Hmm.
said, get your flowers, man. Like I said, you definitely deserve it. People can have whatever opinion they want to have about Triple H. All those wrongs, in my opinion, that I feel were righted in so many
Hmm.
ways. Especially with the real life tension between him and the real life Phil Brooks CM Punk. I'm glad that
Uh-huh.
they were able to mend fences and do business, and they're all making money. So big ups to Hunter.
Hmm.
But of course, this past Saturday night was the 38th annual WWE Royal Rumble PLE. Man, I got to tell you, when I saw the crowd, and I mean, they literally had the biggest Royal Rumble crowd of all time of 70,347. I'm going to repeat that, 70,347 for a non WrestleMania premium live event, which really goes to show you how popular the Royal Rumble concept is. I mean, we got to give
Hmm.
credit where credit is due. Pat Patterson pitched the idea of this match to Dick Ebersol because they were trying to do a special, well, to be truthful, to combat the Bunkhouse Stampede with the NWA and Jim Crockett promotions. And it was on
Hmm.
free TV. It was on the USA Network. I was actually watching it. And all of a sudden, VKM didn't like the idea. And he
Hmm.
told tell Dick Ebersol that stupid idea you were talking about. And he told them, and Dick Ebersol was like, "Oh my God, it's like a legal run-in." And he was so like, "All right, well, go ahead and do it." And it ends up being a premier event, and look at where it is now.
Hmm.
And the event starts. Obviously, they had the 2 hour pre-show, with Peter Rosenberg, Wade Barrett, Jackie Redmond, and Big E. Big ups to Big E, man, Tori Ewan doing his thing, and making best of his situation. But the show starts with the Queendom herself, Stephanie McMahon, coming
Hmm.
out and welcoming everybody to the Royal Rumble, and with pyro going crazy, and they open up with the women's Royal Rumble, which I think we kind of predicted that was gonna happen. So as we go into the women's Rumble, talk about some of the returns, giving your opinion on the return of number one, Charlotte Flair,
The Queen.
coming out at number 25, and how significant of that number is because this is the 25th anniversary of the debut of Canada's own Trish Stratus, WWE Hall of Famer. She came out at number 25. There was the return of Alexa Bliss. Are you
I
kidding me?
popped so hard. I popped. So when I heard that,
Oh
dun,
my
dun,
God.
dun,
Yeah. Oh my
I
God. And
popped.
of course at number 30, you can look, but you can't touch. You look at you. Oh my God. Nikki Bella coming out at number 30. I'm not going to lie to you. This is no shade or no hate on Nikki Bella, but I just booed because I was thinking it was going to be Jade Cargill. I'm not going to lie to you. And I was very, very surprised at that entrant. So, break down what you thought about each of those returns.
So I will start with Nikki because you saw my expression. So a couple of things here. I've never been a Bella girl. Don't know why, just never really got into her and Brie.
I
It is what
respect
it
it.
is. No tea, no
Hmm.
shade. And nothing like I
Hmm.
said, nothing that like I don't have a legit reason why. Like I can't be like, well, back. I truly don't know. I just don't like them for whatever reason. It's fine.
Okay, right.
So I actually had a few members of Black Wrestling over my house, and we were watching it together. And we were. I was disappointed that it was a 30 spot wasted on her. And shout out to Fam. He was like, she couldn't have came in any earlier. She'd have been so winded. And I was like, that's valid. If she was going to enter it,
Mm.
it makes sense for her to be number 30 because if she had came in like at number 17, there was no way she could have lasted. There's no way. She was winded at 30. So that
Hmm.
kind of, when you look at it in that context, it's like, sure,
Okay.
okay. Alexa Bliss, I popped very hard. I'm excited that she's back. Trish Stratus, I did not see that one coming.
No.
And it's crazy because she was in town at WrestleCon. Like she was doing things. I just never put two and two together. So I did not see that coming. So I was very excited
Mhm.
about that.
Okay.
Very, very excited about that. Um, Overall, it was a great rumble. Jordan Grace, loved that she popped up. I think we all knew she was going to pop up, despite her claims that she wasn't. And
Going
she
to
had a
celebrate
really
her
good
mother's
showing.
birthday. She was going to go
Yeah.
to celebrate her mother's birthday. Yeah, okay.
Okay, girl.
All
Okay,
right.
girl.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good rumble. I enjoyed it. I love the fact that they had all the NXT girlies there.
Hmm.
Um, a little disappointed though that we didn't get our women's NXT. What is title is that? The mid card one.
The North American champion,
I'm shocked we
Kaylani.
didn't get her. No, it's not Kaylani anymore. She
Yeah,
dropped
Kaylani
what's her
Jordan.
face.
Yeah.
I can't think of her name right now. It's Casey, but I'm kind of sad she wasn't in it or Lola Vice before Jada Parker.
Right.
And it's no shade to Jada Parker, but like I have a championship belt. Why am I not
Right.
in it? Um, but I love the fact that Roxanne was our Iron Woman. Like I love that. And to be honest with you, I did not see EO kicking it off. I did not see that.
EO and
The first
Liv
two did
Morgan.
not
Yeah, Liv
did
Morgan.
not
That
see
was great.
that.
That was awesome.
Did
That was
not see
really
that
cool.
combination.
Right. And you alluded to it. Roxanne Perez lasting 1 hour, 7 minutes, 47 seconds. She was the last to be eliminated because of course the last two was Charlotte was her and Charlotte Flair. What does this mean now? You know what I mean? Because the first thing I thought, I'm like, wait a minute. They got big plans for her because for you
It is
to go in there, be in there as long as you were, and you being eliminated by the
Charlotte.
queen. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's crazy. So I would imagine that somewhere down the line, it has to be after Mania. It would have to be after Mania when she gets the call up to the main
I
roster.
think
Because at this
no,
point,
she's already up. She's already up. She made a comment, a backstage thing. She did a backstage segment, and she's already up.
wow, that's
I can see
incredible.
her and Bailey going back at it because you know her beef with Bailey.
Oh yeah, that's
I can see
true.
that kind of happening.
By the way, speaking of Bailey, I gotta give a huge shout out to my boy Adrian Hernandez out of Vegas. Has his Unlikely podcast. Support him. Subscribe to his channel as well. All love for him. I met him 2 years ago at Mania in LA, and he's really, really doing his thing in the wrestling content creation space. But he had Bailey, during the presser, and he was talking about. I guess they showed a comment about Naya saying that Bailey has a BBL. And Bailey said, "That's right. I gained a little weight, and it went to my cheeks, and I'm proud of my cheeks because that's what a real Bay Area girl looks like." I said, "Bravo! That's a nice way to own that. I love it." That I had to watch that a couple of times because that was absolutely hilarious, unfreaking believable. But Nia Jax did her thing. She had non-eliminations, especially that one towards the end where it was like she threw out. It had to be about 6 people that was like hanging on the
Yeah,
thing. She just pushed them all off. You know. So
that was a weird spot for me. I'm gonna tell you why it
yeah,
was a weird spot because, and it's again no tea no shade to Naya. Y'all saw her coming. You know what I mean? Like it's just a weird spot. Like you should have moved. I don't know. It was a poorly planned spot. I got the spot, but I just don't think it made sense like visually because she's in the corner. Y'all see her. If it's a rumble, why are you guys chilling? I don't know. Just weird. It's weird.
yeah. It was one of those spots. I'm just like,
Optics were
huh?
kind of
Like, yeah, it was
optics kind
not.
of.
I didn't understand it, but like I said, the NXT representation, like you mentioned, Roxanne, Jada Parker, and Lash Legend. Let me tell you, I absolutely love Lash Legend.
Same.
She just has a presence about her that
She looked damn good too, for sure.
absolutely, I loved her gear. And by the way, I got to tell you, I absolutely loved the runway that they had. It was almost
So
like
long.
it not only that, but it was maybe like 4 or 5 inches high, so people could actually see the superstars running down the ramp, or whether it was for the match or for the Royal Rumble itself. So
Hmm.
huge kudos to WWE for just that little touch in production. But of course, like we mentioned, Charlotte Flair did win the Royal Rumble, and people were excited in the arena for, I mean, the stadium, for what I gathered. But as we're recording on a Tuesday night, oh boy, the city of Cleveland really weren't too happy about Miss Flair's her winning the Royal Rumble. I believe, and this is just me, and I'm not meaning to bring anyone's personal life into the equation, but I have to say, I believe the majority of those boos has something to do with the news that came out yesterday regarding her.
No, I think that her booze, she's supposed to be a heel. Nobody wants to see a face Charlotte, right? So I think
Right.
part of it that she had to kind of get the crowd against her. Um,
Hmm.
I do think there was some truth in that. That last year, one of the hardest years of her life. I certainly can.
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
that tracks for sure. But
True.
honestly, even and everyone knows I love Queen Charlotte. I don't even like
Yeah.
face Charlotte. Like give me heel Charlotte, and it kind of gave her a chance to heal it up. So I appreciated it.
Awesome. Well, like I said, we'll tie a bow on the women's rumble. And like I said, that was, to me, again, it's almost like I find where when the women go first in the Royal Rumble, when they have their match first, it's almost like an, oh yeah, hey guys, go follow that. That was,
Hmm.
to me, the best women's rumble yet. And here's the thing: being that it was only 4 matches total, they went for a shoot 2 minutes. Like that was 2 minutes flat out when they were all coming out. So it it,
Hmm.
it allowed for the whole thing to breathe. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So kudos to the women on an incredible Royal Rumble match. Next up, we got the tag team championship match. 2 out of 3 falls between the with DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns. Everything you would expect in these two teams. I mean, they're damn good wrestlers. I mean, that's just what it is. You made a really valid point last show, because I was, of course, from time to time I do listen to my own show because I do want to learn from what I do and learn, my mistakes that I make, because I know I make plenty of them. But you made a comment about how some of, especially in the WWE fans, they really don't know these two teams very, very well.
Hmm.
And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that their selling point is wrestling, right? It's
Correct.
not a gimmick. It's not, like all loud, wrestling gear or anything like that. Like
Hmm.
those guys, especially Motor City Machine Guns, wrestling. What would you call Johnny? Johnny wrestling, right?
Hmm.
So, of course, I think that by the fans being so winded from the women's Rumble match, you may have had some fans that had to they have to come down a little bit. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? But what was interesting, of course, the DIY wins the first fall. Motor City Machine Guns wins the second fall, because of course you got to go all 3 falls. But then, of course, when I believe it was Alex Shelley that was on the top rope, and you see somebody in a hoodie hit him with a crutch, and I'm thinking, oh, it's pretty deadly, because that's what we were talking about last week. No, 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 no. It was the Street Profits, and they cost the Motor City Machine Guns the match. So DIY did retain the tag team titles, and I mean, I was like, are they heels? You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And Angelo Dawkins says something on Twitter, and he was saying something like, "The hell with you, dirt sheets," or something on that order. So, I mean, damn. Oh, and by the way, speaking of dirt sheets, the comment Michael Cole made during the Women's Rumble when Alexa Bliss come back, he said, "The internet said that she wasn't coming back. The internet said she wasn't coming back." Oh my God. That guy DM, and I'm not talking about Dominic Mysterio, y'all. You know what I'm talking about. He just been taking constant L's. That's just, it's what it is. But Do you have any other comment on the tag match? What you thought of it? Just
It, it's hard to be sandwiched in between rumbles. I'll say that.
right.
Regardless to what performance anyone put on, they could have
Hmm.
gone out there and put on a 5 star
Hmm.
match, and it wouldn't have mattered. So I'll just respectfully leave it at that. Like
It would have been if it was in the Tokyo Dome, it definitely would have been a 5 star match. Just saying. But you know what though? You know what that match reminded me of? No lie. Again, I don't know if you're how many Rumbles you've watched from back in the day, because I know there is an age gap between you and I'm a very, very old man. But the 1991 Royal Rumble, where the Ultimate Warrior dropped the title to Sergeant Slaughter when they were doing the whole Iraqi thing, because Macho
mm-hmm,
Man hit the Warrior in the head with a scepter. That crowd was so out of it. The next match was the Mountie versus Coco Beware.
mm,
The crowd was so out of it. It was just like you could watch it back. You got a few fans cheering, but it was just dead. That is the that is a hard spot to be
mm-hmm,
in when you have to be the match to bring down the crowd. But again, every match has its role on a card. You know what
mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like you can't go balls to the wall after you had a banger like the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
so I think with the tag match, they did what they had to do. They had to story. They're setting the table for something bigger, I feel. And I still
For sure.
think that a TLC match is going to happen in WrestleMania. It might be 4 teams. Heck, it might be 5 teams. So you never really know. All right. We're going to move on to the ladder match for the undisputed WWE Championship. Kevin Owens coming out, you know, of course, with his Canadian Dream T-shirt, challenging Cody Rhodes. Cody didn't have on the long Highland Homelander robe this time. Just had a nice jacket, and I'm thinking, is he
I
gonna
liked it.
lose? Yeah, I liked it too, but I'm just like, ooh, is he gonna lose? Like I'm thinking this is really gonna happen.
Mm-hmm,
And man, oh man, oh man, like everything you expect in a ladder match. Obviously, it was done very, very safely and everything.
mm-hmm,
But the part where when Owens did the thing off the top rope and Cody his back landed on the ladder in the ring and they were both laying down. I got to tell you, when all the officials came out, the producers came out. I'm just like, yo, I said, they okay? That's the first thing, but I'm just like, I said when the if the cameras are constantly on them, they're fine. They're just
if
working.
they didn't cut cameras, then yeah.
Right, right, right. If they didn't pan to the crowd or anything like that, it's just show business. And of course, they're going, and of course, Sami Zayn comes out, and I'm thinking, oh boy, I said he's going to cost Cody the match, and hopefully he'll depend on Kevin to help him win the Rumble later on. I said I think this is going to happen. I think it's going to happen, and they're fighting again. They're fighting again. They're fighting again. Again, it's like it's nothing technical about a ladder match. It's
Right.
not. It's a glorified spot fest, and whoever climbs the ladder first grabs the belts. You win the match.
Mm-hmm,
And highlight obviously was on the announce table, and Cody does the Alabama Slam made famous by Hardcore Holly on
mm-hmm.
Kevin Owens onto the ladder, and the ladder breaks, and his head is through one of the rungs. And I'm just like, oh man! And they all rush to him. He's bleeding, and Cody goes in the ring, grabs both the current WWE Championship and the Wing Eagle title to retain the undisputed WWE Championship. And the coldest shot was Cody on the top rope, and they had the camera panning at him while Kevin Owens and just man, just like in a pool of his own blood. What was
Mm.
your thoughts on the match, the arc of it, and ultimately the conclusion of it?
Again, one of those matches where they could have gone out there and put on a 5 star match, and because of where you are in the position, I could just, yeah, just one of those matches where it's hard to like. It was a great match for sure, but it's just hard to follow that Rumble. Even if they were following the tag team match, like
Right.
it didn't hold my attention like I thought it was going to. I'll say that it was a great match. I loved the ending. I was very confused on the whole Sami Zayn thing until Monday night. it was very hard to hold my attention knowing that I just came off of an hour and 15-minute match. And I'm going into an hour and a half match type thing, right?
Right.
Um, so that was kind of my only weird spot about it.
Yeah, because the first thing that crossed my mind, I said, "Uh-oh." I said, "Kevin's gonna get him back." I said, because he's gonna remember that he didn't help him win the title,
Mm-hmm.
and thus what we saw, last, Monday night on Raw, after CM Punk did beat Sami Zayn to win the qualifying match, for the Elimination Chamber. Kevin Owens attacks him out of nowhere and does the package pile drivers. Like, okay, Mania season activated. So, which by the way, I must say that match with Punk and Sami Zayn was actually really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Really, really
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it. All right. Well, it is now time for the men's Royal Rumble match. Um, Starting out with Rey Mysterio and Penta. I got to get your opinion on that.
I didn't see it coming. I love the 1 and 2 picks for both of them because I would have never guessed the combination. Um, it was yes, yes, it was great. I loved it. I would have again. I'd never guessed that. I would have never guessed Rey Mysterio. And I assumed that when Rey came out, it would be like Dom, right? I was like, oh, Dom won,
Right.
and
Now that would have been cool too.
yeah,
It
yes,
reminded me of 2008's Rumble. Now, again, I was in attendance for that, the Garden, when it was The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels picking up from the '07 Rumble. Remember, they were the
mm-hmm,
last two in there. And I'm like,
mm-hmm,
oh, they're starting out with this? Oh, man. And that was the first thing that crossed my mind when I saw Penta come out at number two. I said, okay, they about to cook. And that
mm-hmm.
set the table for, again, this is one of the best men's Rumbles that I've seen. Because I'll be honest with you, and
The
you
women
maybe
have.
the women has been really cooking the men as far as the rumbles because some of the men's rumbles is kind of I wasn't really too like okay, all right,
Mm-hmm.
but no, they really went in there and they did their thing. But of course, you had guys like, 'cause again, they only had announced 10 or 11 at the time. Now, mind you, when we had recorded last week, it was very early in the week. We didn't know that Logan Paul was gonna be in the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? We just didn't know. But nonetheless, you had Chad Gable, who's been on a mission to master this luchador,
Mm-hmm.
trying to master the lucha style. You know what I mean? Then there was Carmelo Hayes, Santos Escobar, Otis, Braun Breaker, and at number 8 originally was Tozawa. However, he was attacked and he was brought to the back and he couldn't go. And of course, what happens in a baseball game when the pitcher's getting rocked? What do? You bring in a relief pitcher. And in this case, his replacement was streamer I Show Speed. By the way, this moment garnered over 300 million views around all social
Mm-hmm.
media. He gets in the ring, he helps eliminate Otis with Braun Breaker, and he's doing his backflip. Braun Breaker runs the ropes, and I mean, he tackled his ass like he stole something from his mama. Oh my god! I mean, golly, man, what was your thoughts on that? Man? I gotta hear you because that was some fun. That was funny.
So I two things. At first, I was upset because I wanted Mello to be my Iron Man.
Right.
So when Mello came out, I was disappointed. But then I saw that he still got a spot by attacking. I was like, okay, sure. But I do want to say I really wanted Mello to be my Iron Man of the match, or
Mm-hmm.
at least go longer than he did. I think he could have been like, obviously I didn't see him in my final four, but he could have been in like my final six.
Yeah, he was
Um,
only in there 6 minutes and 59 seconds. Like he wasn't in there long at all.
great. So that sorry, and then also to the spot with I Show Speed, it made sense. He is obviously a very athletic little boy guy. I'm sorry, grown man. He's a grown man. He's very athletic. So him taking bumps, and he took bumps before when he was with Logan Paul. A
Right.
few manias ago, it kind of made sense.
Right.
Um, And he is one of the top. I think he won the streamer award for top streamer last year. So he has that
Right.
audience, and it
Right.
made sense. Everyone rags on the Costco guys, but that makes sense for AEW to go up that level of influencer. Whereas WWE, we can go after I Show Speed and Mr. Sanat. You know what I mean? So yeah. Yeah, I liked it. There's always a celebrity spot in these, so that was our celebrity spot. It made sense.
At my shoot job, there's a woman that actually does watch wrestling, and she didn't understand why they're bringing in so many celebrities. And I said, they've been bringing in celebrities since the beginning of time. I said,
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania 1, they had Liberace, the
Mm-hmm.
New York Yankees manager Billy Martin. Mr. T was in the main event. Cyndi Lauper was managing Wendy Richter.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the world famous Rockettes. They've always been in the celebrity business. Ray Charles
Mm-hmm.
saying America the Beautiful at WrestleMania 2. Aretha Franklin sang it at WrestleMania 3. Gladys Knight sang it at WrestleMania 4.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. They've always been in the celebrity business. It makes sense. Get
Mm-hmm.
outside eyeballs on the product. But yeah, that was that. But getting back to iShow Speed, that was that's yeah. I sent it to my stepdaughter, and because she knows about iShow Speed and everything, she was literally like, "Oh my god!" Like she was like, "Dude," I'm like, "Yeah, that was bad, real bad."
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm sure I'm sure he's okay now. But man, that had to
I'm
hurt.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. All right, so of course, we had Sheamus, Big Jim, Jimmy Uso, Andrade, Jacob Fatu coming into the fray. Ludwig Kaiser, The Miz, and at number 15, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Woo! Man, I popped. I was so happy for him. You
I think
know,
everyone was excited when he showed up, for sure.
yeah, I mean, him walking out there with the TNA World Title, number one, this puts eyes on their product. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is how you do it. If you're working with another company, this is how you showcase them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it was really nice to see him in there, and he was actually, when he says something recently where he was just saying how he really was. It was cool that he got to see John Cena and stuff like that, Roman Reigns and everything. So, I mean, hey, dreams really do come true, and wrestling is truly a love story. But
Mm-hmm.
of course, John Cena comes out at was a number 25. No, I'm sorry, main event Jey Uso comes out at number 20. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The returning AJ Styles coming back with his original WWE music. Yes, yes, yes. We got some CFO music because Def Rebel sucks. I'm sorry, but they do.
I think
Okay,
you'll get no argument out of anyone from that.
okay, great, cool. I want to make sure we're both on the same page.
No
Um,
argument.
Braun Strowman was in there at number 22, and of course at number 23, and that was a nice touch having to me the GOAT of WWE, John Cena, coming out at number 23, and how iconic that number is. Number 24 was CM Punk. Number 25 was Dominic Mysterio, and Roman Reigns came in at number 16, which was really I didn't think he was going to be there that long, but he
Nah, I had him
was.
at 15. Mm-hmm.
Really?
I had him
Wow.
coming out in the middle. I didn't think he'd be Iron Man. I didn't see him doing that. Nor did I see him having them put the easy way out of him coming in like number 29, 30. So I had
Mm.
him in the middle. He needed to be in there long enough to make a statement.
100%. I agree. I agree with you on that. But the shot of Punk entering the ring, being in the ring with Cena and Roman Reigns, I'm like, oh man.
Speaking of Roman Reigns, let's pause it for a second because we need to rewind.
Okay.
The fact that Roman Reigns took the spear from Braun Breaker shows you how they feel about Braun Breaker.
Yes,
Because
I
you would
agree.
have assumed that Braun would have ate the spear. He did not.
Right.
So that just tells you how big they are on him that Roman Reigns took a spear from him.
Did you see the
Very
look on
interesting.
No, did you see the look on Heyman's face when he did
Mm-hmm.
that? I
Mm-hmm.
see Braun Breaker eventually being a Paul Heyman guy.
Wouldn't be bad at it.
I could
I
totally
love
see that
him.
happening.
He had his Steiner math gear on. Like I loved it. I am very high on Braun Breaker. Very
Yeah,
high on
man.
Braun Breaker.
Absolutely. So again, Seth Rollins comes in at number 25. Dominic Mysterio 26, Sami Zayn 27, Damian Priest number 28, 29 was LA Knight, and of course at number 30 was Logan Paul. Yeah, this anyways. So it was interesting because you see Punk, I'm not Punk, but the shot of Seth and Roman Reigns where Roman's in the corner and they had that camera shot right on. Oh man, drama, drama. And then of course where Reigns and Seth are dangling on the rope, Punk eliminates both of them. And then
Hmm.
Logan Paul comes out of nowhere and tosses out Punk, and that starts the melee with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. Where this is going, I have no idea. But of course, Seth does the double curb stomp on Roman Reigns with both feet. I'm like, oh my God. And then now with the final three is Logan Paul, Jey Uso, and John Cena. And of course, Logan Paul gets eliminated and is down to the final two, Jey Uso and Cena. And I'm thinking, oh boy, I said, is this going to be the way Cena's going to go to WrestleMania? Because I'm thinking there's no way. But again, this is your pick too. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, was going to do the AA, but Jey Uso gets in the ring and just pushes him. Just something really simple, and it got a pop. Jey
Hmm.
Uso, the men's Royal Rumble winner, and you want to talk about pandemonium in that stadium, you know what I mean? And it was very, very emotional. His son was there. Cena gets in the ring and hugs him,
Hmm.
and this is one of the best the men's rumbles I've seen in a very, very, very long time. So
Hmm.
break down, that last few, as far as the sequences that I talked about, and just what your opinions were on your opinions on it, and where do you foresee some of these angles happening as we moving forward towards WrestleMania?
Um, Before we do that, there were no NXT men, and that bothered me.
Mm.
At minimum, you could have had your champion.
Oma Femi, I agree.
You could have had Trick. You could have
I
had,
agree.
however, that being said, right? I recognize that when I thought about it, I was okay, who could have been replaced in this match?
Hmm.
And besides taking out The Miz, there's really no one that I could have replaced, which further proves it was a great Rumble, right? Because I'm like, you could have known that this person, you could have known that person. Like, it's like, there's really,
It's a stacked roster.
excuse me, it was a very stacked wrestle offense computing. However, I am a little disappointed that we didn't get any NXT people.
Now this is 2011 when it was the 40-man rumble. You know what I'm saying? Like we could have that
Yeah.
was the one now Del Rio had won. We probably could have had some NXT people, but that just goes to show you how stacked the WWE roster is. Now I know people can argue and say, well, Joe Hendry shouldn't have been in there, whatever the case, but you got to
Mm-mm.
understand that's business because they have a partnership now with TNA. So they want to put as many eyes on TNA as possible. There is the rumor out there, don't know how true it is, about the potential of Impact moving to the USA Network, which I think would be great for to get even more eyeballs on their product. Can you imagine? And I don't even think USA would have to put out that much money. I don't think they're going to
Hmm.
be able to they're not going to do 50 million, but maybe
No.
15 million they might put into it and they can get the ad revenue on the back end. That's what I think can happen. But nonetheless, Jey Uso, winner of the Royal Rumble. But here's my thing, and I need clarity, and I love to pick your brain on certain things. What is it with people being so pissed off that Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble match when
I don't
everyone's
know
been
that one.
bitching and moaning, excuse my language, about we need new faces winning. This guy's been in the tag team for so long, and he's had this new singles run that he's been on. You mean to tell me that you're not gonna appreciate the fact that this guy now is a fresh face, in the singles division, and is it won the Royal Rumble, someone that you didn't think was going to win. That bothers me. But you also, you know what though, it really goes to show you people need to realize that social media isn't as big as you think. Social media ain't real.
I think that it was someone trying to get engagement farming. Someone was doing some engagement farming because like I don't know how we got here in that conversation.
Like that is
Yeah, I don't understand.
mind-boggling that's mind-boggling to me. And guess what? When we watch Raw, that crowd was yeeting like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
And I think him and Gunther got a story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
They got a story to tell, and I think that's going to be the one leading in to WrestleMania. So, again, it was an incredible Royal Rumble. I have no complaints about the event at all. It was over
Mm-hmm.
4 hours. I mean, but a great. It's a classic four pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, PLE. Sorry. It was 4 hours and it was worth it because I mean it was quality. You know what I mean? It was
Mm-hmm.
it was top quality and like I said, Elimination Chamber's coming up, in less than 3 weeks, and we shall see, how the next couple of weeks are going to play out, who's going to be in this
Mm-hmm.
Elimination Chamber, and how the title picture is going to be going into WrestleMania. All right. So we're going to tie a bow on the wrestling end of it, and like I mentioned, we're going to be doing more than just wrestling. We're going to be talking about some pop culture. We're going to be talking about some sports as well. And after the Royal Rumble went off, this must have been now, because you figure Royal Rumble came on at what, 6? So Royal Rumble went off at about a little after 10.
Mm-hmm.
After midnight, I was going through Twitter, going through my Twitter machine, and I saw where Shams said breaking. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first round pick, sources tell ESPN. Three-team deal that includes Utah. First and foremost, I thought Shams got hacked.
That's fair.
I'm literally, because I'm like going through my feed. I'm like, wait, this is not real. This is not real at all. This is not real. And it comes back and he says, yes, this is real. Sources tell ESPN full trade. Lakers, Luka, Maxi, Markieff Morris, Mavericks, Anthony Davis, Max Christie, 2029 Los Angeles first round pick. And the Jazz gets Jalen Hood, Shafino, a 2025 Clippers second, and a 2025 Mavericks second. And here's the crazy part that you and I had talked about, but I want to talk about it on the show. The trade details was simply this. Number one, for all those that said LeBron had to know about it, LeBron was in the know. He was not. Anthony Davis was not in the know. Rich Paul and Clutch Sports were not in the know. Luka Doncic was not in the know. This was something that the Mavericks GM and the Lakers GM were in cahoots on for the past 3 or 4 weeks, working out this trade.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, Luca had just closed on a $12 million home in Dallas.
15.
See, $15 million. Anthony Davis closed on a $30 million home in Bel Air. He was thinking he was going to be a Laker for life, and this where it gets even nastier. So Danny Ainge is the GM of the Jazz, and this is what the report is from ESPN. He was reportedly kept in the dark on the gravity of the deal. It says even the Utah Jazz, the third team that facilitated the transaction by collecting two second round picks for absorbing Jalen Hood Shafino, didn't know Doncic and Davis were a part of the deal until an hour before it was completed, league sources said. Even the Jazz president Danny Ainge, who hails from the Lakers' hated rival, the Boston Celtics, had up only 30 minutes notice, sources said, that Los Angeles was about to acquire Doncic and to be the new face of its franchise. But by then, it was too late and too much about it to do much about it, and the NBA history was about to be altered. This is exactly why a lot of these players, they want to take control of their own destiny. But here's the thing: when some of these players trying to take control of their own destiny and going the wrong way about it, This move right here, and I don't agree with it, but this is these owners and GMs saying we're taking the power back.
Hmm.
Because when you see all these stars, not the middle of the road players, not the bench players, I'm talking about these stars that are forcing their way out of their contracts. When you saw what James Harden did a few years ago when he wanted to get out of Houston to get to Brooklyn. When you saw what
Hmm.
Kevin Durant did to get out of Brooklyn to go where he went to Phoenix. When you see all of these players forcing their way out of these contracts after they signed these contracts, but these owners and GMs can trade you at will. So it's a double-edged
Hmm.
sword. You know what I mean? What was your
Hmm.
initial reaction when you first heard about this trade? And what do you think the ramifications means going forward for the NBA from this season and beyond?
So I wasn't shocked because whenever it's trade season, there are always going to be one or two that like you kind of see coming. And then there's always one big one where you're like, what? And we hadn't got our what moment. So like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I was surprised, but you put nothing past any GM when it comes time to make things happen. So like I wasn't too surprised. Um I'm very interested to see how it plays out. I hear KD's trying to get out. I hear there are a lot of people like so I'm very curious to see what moves will still out hanging out in the world right now. WNBA, same thing. They had some very interesting moves recently. I mean, Sid Colson now is signing with the Fever as of this evening on Tuesday night.
Right.
Um, BG left Phoenix. We still don't know what Diana Taurasi is doing. Like there are still like when it comes to free agency, that's the whole point is to shake things up. So I love it. I love it.
But we've never seen this type of move before. When you have
It's a bad. I mean, it's a bad
two,
move.
I mean, two first All NBA players traded mid-season. We're
Hmm.
not talking about, July 1st in the summer and all that other stuff.
Hmm.
No, we're talking mid-season.
Hmm.
We've never seen. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you remember when, oh God, when Chris Paul, when he was playing for the
Mm.
New Orleans Pelicans and he was being traded to the Lakers,
Yep.
Kobe and I think Pau Gasol was waiting for him at the airport. And by the time he landed, the NBA vetoed the trade. And it was a technicality, and I don't know if you remember because at that time the Pelicans didn't have an ownership. They didn't have an actual owner at the time. They did not.
Hmm.
So the NBA ultimately was acting as the owner. David Stern was overseeing everything.
Hmm.
And because of the fact that the acting GM, where I don't even remember who that was at the time, was the one that signed off on the trade, David Stern wasn't in the mix and he didn't know. Thus, why he had to ultimately veto the trade. But from what I understand, and this is just over this is as stuff has come out over the years that there were some other owners that really did not like the trade and didn't think it was fair that the Lakers are always reaping the
Getting
benefits.
up. Hmm.
Right, but and even in this situation now, it's like damn, like the Lakers are getting like they're and now they have a think about this. Luca is only 25 years old. He has minimum 10 years left. And he could play another 10 years.
Hmm.
That you already know. International appeal. I can already see it already. You can't spell Luca without LA. You know what I mean? Like all these little things. Now, I'm interested in finding out is where does LeBron fit into all of this now? Because they're two both ball dominant players. Now, obviously, LeBron can pay the one, the two, the three, the four, the five, but they don't. Right now, they got rid of their big man, and they're one of their biggest defensive threats in Anthony Davis. I'm wondering now. Now, granted, as we're recording this, trade deadline is still ongoing.
Hmm.
So as a Bulls fan, obviously we just lost Zach LaVine yesterday, which day before yesterday, which I'm not happy about. That's another story for another day. But I'm thinking, okay, I said Vucevic has to be next now. So I'm thinking if the Lakers going to get a big man, they give hey, listen, give us your first round pick and we'll give you Vucevic. And if we're going to be hitting the reset button, but I'm just really interested to see if LeBron is going to stick around, is he going to waive his no trade clause and see what team would potentially take LeBron? which would be crazy. LeBron James getting traded, right? That would be insane.
I don't think he's going anywhere because of Bronny.
Mm.
He did all this to get Bronny in and to poop with Bronny, so I don't foresee him going anywhere unless Bronny goes.
Package deal.
And that's the only reason why I don't see him leaving, honestly, is because he just did all this work to get get Bronny at the Lakers for him to leave.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I don't see that happening,
Right.
but you never know.
Yeah, that is crazy. And like I said, that is just nasty though. I mean, when you really think about it, it's like you're completely in the dark about everything. And Anthony and what's my man name from Minnesota? Ant-Man. And he was just saying, he was telling the owner, he said, "Look, man, if y'all are looking to trade me, just tell me."
Right?
I mean, that's just bad. That's just bad, bad. LeBron's like eating out. They just beat the Knicks. The Lakers had just beat the Knicks, and
Hmm.
all of a sudden, I'm just like, well, damn. He didn't. Everyone's finding out on their phones. The Suns were playing somebody, and they're all on their phones looking at this all happening on their phones during a game.
Hmm.
Terrible. Well, we're gonna tie a bow on that, and we're gonna move on to some entertainment stuff right now, which I know you have a lot of interest in. Now, the Grammy Awards, just took place this past Sunday night, and there were some happenings on the red carpet, if I must say. So, world-renowned producer, songwriter, recording artist, Babyface, who has written for everybody, who has done it all, was on the red carpet, and he's being interviewed by journalists Christophoria and Leslie Abreeze, who are representing the Associated Press. He's speaking and everything, and all of a sudden, somebody, I think it was a brand new artist by the name of Chappelle Roan, who she won a category later that night, and I guess Foria has shouted out Roan's name to get her attention because I don't even think that this girl knew who Babyface was. I'm just gonna. She may have said something later. Oh, I like Babyface music. No, no, you didn't know who he was. And
Hmm.
all of a sudden, he mainly said, "You guys want to take that? Go do that." Then he just walked away. And the Associated Press had to send out a tweet, and they said, "We're deeply sorry for cutting your interview with Babyface short on our YouTube live stream of the Grammys red carpet. We have apologized to him through his representative and to our viewers on the live stream." When you see things like this happening to our legends, does it make you feel a certain way about, in regards to the generational gaps, in regards to just the lack of respect with some of these people?
That and it's showing that you don't prep your people before they have to go on the red carpet. Because if you're going to a music based program, you think that you would know music things. You would know who Babyface is in theory, right? It'd be like the two of us going into something and not
Mhm.
knowing who The Rock is, not knowing who Roman is. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
it
right,
just shows the lack of who's in the room because you sent two people, not even age. Age really, I mean, age is a factor in this. We can obviously tell, but in theory, if you're truly that music enthusiast, you should have known that who this man was and not to
right.
have acted the way you did. It just shows that people are going into spaces that are very unprepared. Um, it's unfortunate, but I'm not surprised, unfortunately, because we've lost that like recipe in life of being prepared for things and knowing the room and the company that you're in.
That was crazy. And I mean, you had people like Khloe Kardashian that took to Twitter, you know what I'm saying? And she had, some things to say about, this guy's a legend. How dare you? I'm just paraphrasing here. Yeah, she said, it's maddening to see a legend not get the respect and attention they deserve. He is a pioneer and deserves so much better than this. It's wild. I mean, listen, he's written for Madonna. He's written
He's
for
written
Boys
for
to Men,
everybody.
Tony Braxton, John
Mm-hmm.
B. I mean, he has written for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I mean, and by the way, him and L.A. Reid put together one of the greatest movie soundtracks of all time, Boomerang.
I knew there was that. Yes, boomerang.
which I saw in the movie theaters in summer 1992. One of the best movie soundtracks. I will put that up there, and I will put Above the Rim up there, which was done by Death Row Records. But LaFace Records putting out Boomerang. There you
I swear to God, that was
go.
what I was singing in my head. That and Love Should Have Brought You Home, baby.
And that was one hell of a line when Halle Berry said that love should have brought
Mm-hmm.
your ass home
Brought your
last
ass home.
night.
Close that door.
Jacqueline says, "I'm a better man like that, and I owe this all to you." Let me tell you something. When she said, "I may not be all glamorous and I don't have hair weed down my back," let me tell you something. Every sister in that movie theater I was in was screaming and hollering like, "Yeah, you tell him, you tell him." Unbelievable. That was an incredible movie, by the way. Boomerang is one of my favorite movies of all time.
We have breaking news right now.
Oh,
Fandango is back in WWE. He just popped up on NXT.
I'm serious.
I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass serious.
God.
I just got a text and was like, "What?" And I looked at it, and they sent me the video. It's a thing. He's back
Let
in
me tell you something.
WWE.
I downloaded that song the minute he made his debut at WrestleMania 29. Oh my God. Oh man. You completely made my week with that news, and I can't wait to watch NXT on CW on the rebound. But thank you so much for the breaking news, Gabby. I definitely appreciate that. But one more thing we do have to do as we're covering the Grammys. Kendrick Lamar walked out with five of those things for one song.
A
Not Like
diss track at
Us.
that.
Record of the year, song of the year, best rap performance, best rap song, best music video. And when you heard 20,000 people yell A minor, is it safe to say that the entire music industry has turned on Drake?
Yeah, yeah. The lawsuit didn't help.
I mean, and we listen, the Super Bowl is Sunday. It's going to be 70,000 people saying that line.
Wah, 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 wah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, good grief. And of course, Beyonce walks out with three Grammy Awards with Best Country Duo Group Performance, Best Country Album, and Album of the Year. She finally did it, finally won the big one. But I have a question, and you know where I'm going with this. The Grammys thought her album was country enough. Why didn't the CMAs do? Things that make it go,
Mm.
hmm. So we'll leave it at that. Beyonce, congratulations, Queen. You definitely deserve it. Of course, she announced her tour. So I guess it's gonna be costing a whole lot of money. Well, like I said, that was fun. Like I said, we're gonna be doing these things, throughout the year. Like I said, we're not gonna bore you all with just wrestling, but of course, when there's things happening that are relevant in, pop culture, music, sports, we're definitely going to bring it to you. And hey, we have some breaking news tonight for the first time on the D-Lew podcast, where the matriarch is giving us news that my boy Fandango is back home in the WWE. I cannot wait to see it. And I hope he brought the dancing gimmick back, because he definitely, like, I just feel as though that they derailed that too soon.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
I hope they bring back Summer Rae too, because I thought they were a great item. But before we get out of here, as always, let the people know where they can find you on social media, and B, where they can listen to your incredible podcast and your YouTube channel.
You guys can find me everywhere at Hi Gabrielle, HiiGabrielle, and the podcast is Lip Gloss Ladders. I'm on all social media.
Awesome. Well, like I said, this is fun. This is fun, and like I said, we're gonna be having a whole lot of fun in 2025. Believe that. And hey, we're on Believe Network. Is what we do. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that does it for this week's edition of the D-Lew podcast. Again, thank you, Gabby, for all that you continue to do, for the show. But of course, you can see me doing my ring announcer thing at the world famous Monster Factory for our Monsters Are Real event this Saturday night, bell time, 7 p.m. Doors open at 6:30, and you can see all of the future stars of professional wrestling at the world famous Monster Factory. You can get your tickets online at monsterfactory.org. Don't wait till the 11th hour showing up to the door, and then they might be sold out. So make sure you get online, go to monsterfactory.org, look up the Monsters Are Real event, and get your tickets. Very, very affordable, family friendly pro wrestling. You can also subscribe, okay? Subscribe to the show. Subscribe to the D-Lew podcast on all platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also YouTube. You can get the audio and the video version on YouTube. So if you can go to my YouTube channel, look up Derrick T. Lewis or The Real DT Lew, you get the D-Lew podcast. You get all of my music, including music videos, as well as my actor reels as well. You can go to my store. I have a pro wrestling tee store. You can go to pwt.derricklewis.com. Also, you can go to my store, my own store, all D-Lew podcast merchandise, which includes windbreakers, duffel bags, you name it, sweatsuits, t-shirts, sweatshirts. You can get even a coffee mug, water bottle over at shop.derricklewis.com. You can go to my social media as well for the D-Lew podcast. If you can go to all social media platforms at the D-Lew podcast. And of course, my social media is at the real DT Lew, with the exception of Facebook, because it wants to be different. It's Derrick T. Lewis official page. Well, I'm going to get out of here. And as I always say, no matter what it is you do in life, always remember to make it count. See you next time.